All right, you guys ready for this one? Number 4. Wow, it's what a journey so far. This is awesome. I need to do this like every year. Episode number 4 is gonna be all about getting rid of all this stuff. It's like some cardboard deal. It's purely decorative. Like it's not acoustic, it's not a fancy, like a fancy version of the actual thing now. It does look nice, but we need a nice flat surface to put all that acoustic product on. So we're gonna get rid of it, stuff the wall with a bunch of safe and sound, slap another 5/8 drywall on top of that. We're gonna put some green glue in between. And we're also gonna do the same in these walls over here. This is just my little like restroom sort of deal. We're not gonna go crazy with, dual drywall layer or whatever. We're just gonna strip them down, put some insulation in there, close them up, so that's gonna be easy. Very importantly, the realization of the imaginary switch. We're gonna get that all through this wall and right here. Yes. I think the time-lapse video should kind of look nice. It's like a nice big wall. Hopefully it's gonna be way less gray than it is right now. Let's get into it. Nice. Not too bad for my first return air vent. So it's important that you have drywall screws 16 inches apart. Here comes the moment of truth. Okay, so to get started with this, I'm actually gonna start peeling off this whole thing, right? See that? It's only glued together. It's not too bad. Plus it's like some papery stuff, right? It's not super really strong. We're also gonna move this guy. Probably gonna move it like somewhere here. If there's enough electrical wires inside the wall, we'll see when we open it up. So we should be done pretty quickly, I'm gonna say. Kind of cool. It looks almost like a Street Fighter character or something like that. It's kind of a neat look, honestly. Well, rustic, beautiful rustic studio. We're gonna keep it like that. Just gonna recycle that. It was kind of inconsistent. I guess I was trying to save the white portion as much as I could, but whoops. Towards the beginning, it was kind of okay, especially this silicone. I got most of it off here. The whole point of that green glue is that it doesn't harden. While that's not necessarily the case with this regular silicone, which was here. Still gotta clean up that mess over there, but you know what? I'm kind of tired, it's getting late, so I'll take care of it tomorrow. The good thing is that I have most of these kind of exposed already. And basically to take off the wall, you just gotta get each of these screws out and yank the wall off. Hopefully we don't make too bad of a mess when we start doing that. But yeah, so far so good. So far so good. Anyway, see you tomorrow.
12 seconds later.
All right, it's the new day, new me. Shout out Felix Martin. So it's time to get a hold of each of these panels, get them off, put some safe and sound in, get it back on. Now, to get them off, you need to find and unscrew each and every screw that is on there. And as previously established, they're every 16 inches. It's not that hard, but still. I had a plan, I think it should work. I have these little, magnets. If you do this, it pulls. Well, if you put it obviously anywhere else. I think I'm also gonna do it strip by strip, basically. So I'm gonna find one panel, because I can take it off whole and put it back on the same way that I found it, so it's gonna be nice and even. Actually, I just remembered, yeah, I also gotta take this trim off. So let's do the trim first, and then we're gonna start finding these screws and getting all those panels off. Should be fun. All right, so we came to a point where I basically have to open up this entire wall here so I can route this cable so we can finalize that three-way switch. And then once we're done running cables and everything, then we're gonna resume with safe and sound and the rest of the drywall. But yeah. Oh boy. Oh boy. Well, of course, we hit a snag. Turns out I actually didn't do everything properly in the last video because I think I was just too eager to finish. When closing that left wall of the studio, right next to that air vent, you might recall a little tiny little power outlet. Hello. Which I, at the time, thought was absolutely okay to be left in the wall. Oh man. Turns out if you have any break in the wire and well treated, well isolated, like nice in a box, in a receptacle or whatever, it's actually against the code to leave that inside a wall if it has voltage. So what we're gonna do is basically just bypass that entire part of the circuit. We're gonna go open up the back wall of the CPU NUC, drill a hole to the basement. I actually already found the wire that is going from the breaker panel. We're gonna cut it off right where it enters the room, make a little junction box, put a new piece of wire in from the basement to the CPU NUC, and lead the wire around the room from there. To make sure that the rest of my work is good, I actually booked an ESA inspection, and that's coming up this Thursday, so we gotta finish up all this work until then. Let's go open up the CPU NUC. Alright, so I found the wire. So we gotta open up the entire wall now. This is good, this is good. Before we go through, we actually need to identify that that wire is indeed the one going across the room. I hope it's not the kitchen. So let's see. So that's our wire. It's leading up there. Okay, now we're gonna shut it off. 33. Okay, great. And this is perfect that we have a stud right over there, so we're gonna install a power outlet right next to our beautiful air vent. But first, we gotta reach into the wall and cut enough of that wire. Okay. Oh boy. How am I gonna reach? Maybe like around this or something? What is down there? Ooh, I think it's Star Stage. Okay, so this project is getting more and more complicated as we go. Apparently there's a junction box in there that leads several wires like kind of all over the place. From poking around a little bit more in the back of the wall with my phone, and because I can barely get my like hand in there, I actually realized that there's no wires going all the way into the wall towards that old power outlet, which sucks. That means, in reality, there's no way for us to truly verify that that power outlet is on the same breaker until we see the wires. Because there's actually a different section of the room there's a different breaker, because it's just a weird... Don't ask, okay? It's a weird concoction, the whole thing, how it's made. It's like, all right. Which means that I have to open up the wall from the other side, though. So we're gonna get in from the kitchen. Yeah, I guess that's how it goes when you continue other people's projects. But yeah, so let's do that now. This is great. Have an empty water bottle in our wall. Looks like the easiest thing to do at this point, just to keep things sort of simple and not make any drastic changes. I'm just gonna flip it around, make it come out on this end, and that's gonna be the end of it. Okay, it's free. That was about as elegant as I could have done it. It's really not all that bad. And you see, because of these wires, it couldn't go much lower. I'm gonna have to put it sort of right there. Yeah, right about there. Boy, am I glad that we're done with that. Okay, before I move on to closing this entire wall, I actually need to get done with the electrical, because the inspector is coming tomorrow and it needs to be all nice and neat for him. So, gotta make that happen. So we gotta run this cable all the way there, and up to here. So that's gonna be our three-way switch. We have to move this power outlet just a little bit down, and unfortunately I do need to swap this entire cable. And finally, the easiest thing, I'm gonna move this one ever so slightly to the left by using a 2x4, just so I can clear the trim on the other side. That's where the old trim was, so I want to, I mean, why wouldn't you just... Last thing on the list. Long day. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm ready for this project to be done. So, we're officially done with all things electrical. No casualties, no incidents, clean operation. So I'm gonna go to bed, get some sleep, and wait for the inspector tomorrow and see what he says. Maybe we're not done just yet. It's getting pretty late. It's time for bed. It was a long, long day. Ooh, look, a switch. Okay, we passed the inspection, so that's awesome. The guy had literally nothing to say. He was like, yep, this is fine, that's fine. He didn't even make me like tear down any of the walls, which I was kind of afraid that he was gonna, but thankfully, none of that happened. The next thing to do here is to drill right there. You see that? We're gonna make a little conduit, and we're putting that there to have some space for the cables for my drum workstation to be able to connect to my main workstation over there. So no big deal. Just a couple of like maybe USBs, maybe some XLRs, HDMI, whatever. But this is gonna be the terminating spot. Oops, actually, it's gonna be right there. We're gonna cut all of this stuff open. Just gonna be spewing out cables right through there. And hopefully there is no issues on the other side. I've already taken some measurements. I think we're good, but it's never, it's never as easy as you think it's gonna be, is it? And of course, things are never as easy as you would think. Managed to get right about that far into it. And I got stopped by a freaking I-beam. It was painted black so I didn't see it. Check it out. See that? That is a solid metal I-beam. So that's not going anywhere. So yeah, I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do. Couple of options. None of them are actually any good. We're not going from under the wall. You know, we could potentially go from above, but I don't think that's a great option. I have to tear out the entire ceiling, basically. It's way too much travel. I have to go all the way up, across the room, down through the wall. No, it's too much. Again, not ideal, but we could just miss the I-beam and go from the floor directly, which is also potentially okay as long as the drums stay there. But yeah, it's a tricky one. I gotta think it through. Probably gonna end up going from the floor. So that's, yeah, sucks. For the time being, I think I'm just gonna keep doing this wall, put the Rockwool in, slap the first layer of drywall on, and then I'm gonna worry about the conduit later. So let's do that. That took a little bit. Had to pull some of these back off, unfortunately, because I didn't account for thickness of the 5/8 drywall when it comes to these power outlets. So in order to move them slightly forward, I had to open up these walls back again, but at least I knew where the screws were. I had to move these two as well. These are some controls for the audio system. I just didn't like where they were in the first place, plus with these acoustic products, like they're gonna be slightly in the way. I also managed to move this light switch here to a more desirable spot. You see it was here. Because there is another light switch in the back of it. Before I had to move it forward, there was no space, but now that it is slightly forward, there's just enough space to put both of them like back to back, so it's nice and even across the house. Now before we put that 5/8 drywall sheet on there, I have to actually plug up these holes. You see there's quite a bit of quite a bit of handiwork there, which I mean, I don't think it was avoidable either way, but it sure didn't help that I was inexperienced as I were. But now, if I was to take it off now, it would have been so much better. I'm just gonna patch those up and put like one rough coat of, you know, some spackle, some mud. My name is Mud. My name is Mud. Primus, anyone? Or am I too old? Yeah. Killer stuff. Here we go. Man, do these things never go smooth. Let me show you. So I open up this wall here. Okay, that's our external wall over there. You see all the air moving around? Definitely a return air. Now that it's open, I do want to put some safe and sound in there, and I need to seal it up from the other side. So I think it's safe to put a layer of plastic on the outside of this. We'll see how exactly. Maybe I'll kind of harmonica it like this. And we're just gonna stick some Rockwool in there. So almost finished with this hack job here. That's what we're looking at. It's not all that bad. Time to spackle. All right, so it's the day after. Pretty happy with how things are looking so far. You know, every day you do a little bit of work and it's coming together pretty well. Made a bit of a mistake last night by choosing to work with the 45-minute compound because it settles basically after half an hour. It's not very good to work with. So you either have to work super quick, which I'm not exactly an expert at this. Plus it didn't help that I had, you know, the entire length of this wall to do. So the moral of this one is always go for the 90. Don't go for the 45, especially if you're me. Take your time, don't go crazy. The wall is not going anywhere. It's gonna be okay. But yeah, it's looking good. I tried to fill in as much of that top corner as much as I could, and I think I did a good job at that. Also fixed all of these with my California patches. Ooh, Cali patches, dude, right on, radical. It's a little bit messy, but it doesn't matter all that much. But yeah, that's what we are. That's what it looks like. Another California patch. I did this portion over here because I had some more compound, and then that entire part we're gonna do afterwards. But yeah, at this point, this entire wall is ready to get another sheet of drywall on top of there. But before we do that, I gotta take care of this this restroom over here. Oh boy, that's just yellow. So we're gonna take everything off. The toilet, the sink, the mirror, everything, make some room for me to work in here. And then we're gonna take this wall off, that one off as well. Fill them up with Rockwool, close them back up. Then we go back to the studio. Do you believe this? Check it out. This is so frustrating. See that valve? See that valve? They're supposed to come through a certain hole, and then when you go to the actual hole, it's a tiny ass hole! Nothing could go through there, nothing! Break out the beaver? Yeah, let's do it. You remember those magnets that I was using to find the screws last time? I actually got a proper tool for that job now. It looks like this. It's just a stronger magnet, right? So, we're going. Gotta go along the wall, go, and it sits there like that. It makes things significantly easier. Here's the restroom all open up, and I have a couple of surprises. These pipes are here. I'm not quite sure if it's okay to put the safe and sound in, but I'm gonna read up about it a little bit. We also have a return air here, so we're not gonna be able to insulate this particular thing, but I think I'm gonna just put an additional layer of the 5/8 drywall on the back of it We'll definitely improve it for sure, but it's not ideal necessarily. I wish that wasn't there, but can't mess with it, so we're gonna do the best we can. Oh, okay. It's a lot of Rockwool. Yeah, pretty satisfied with how this is going. If you're working with Safe and Sound, this knife is the bomb. We're gonna get done with this tomorrow and continue on with the 5/8 drywall. And yeah, moving on. Great. Let me get some rest and we'll keep going.
Okay, so we got a green light from several people. I actually called Rockwool to ask them if it's okay to put like the Safe and Sound on the pipes, and they said yes. So we're gonna do that now, and then we're gonna put a little bit of drywall in this return air, close it all up, and call this one good.
So, it's a new return air. Slightly narrower, but I think it's gonna be okay. There's a bit of a gap here. I'm gonna spackle over, put the walls back up, and finish this restroom. At least something is being finished, right? This episode is killing me, dude.
First layer of the green glue.
Okay. All done with the little restroom there. The only thing left to do is to put another sheet of drywall, that 5/8 drywall, which is a little bit thicker, all over this wall, except we're gonna use a whole bunch of this green glue stuff. It seems to be quite a special glue. I'm not sure how well it works, but it makes sense to me where they demonstrated it. It's quite impressive, actually. It physically decouples the two surfaces that it's gluing together, essentially. It acts sort of as this big, like, dampener between the two sheets of drywall. You know, when they make those floating floors, they almost have these, like, rubber pads underneath the floor. So it's kind of similar to what we're gonna do here, except it's gonna be in a liquid form. It's like a silicone that stays rubbery for like 50 or 70 years. It actually never quite dries. That's basically it. This is how much we got. So hopefully it lasts me. I think we should be good. I think I bought a little to spare. This is the home stretch, you guys. Let's do it. Let's get to it. this is how the green glue looks like when applied masterfully. Look at this piece of art. Vladimir Lalic, what do you think? I name it the nothingness of existence. Lovely. Are we done with this? Awesome. It's not too bad for a 3 a.m. job. Turned out really nice actually. Once we put some spackle on there, it's gonna be just beautiful. It's gonna be great. And Glenn the Grossa, I totally appreciate what you said, my friend. I would probably say the same thing, but at this point, I'm looking at it almost like a challenge. I wanna do it all myself. So, yeah, you're gonna see me spackling all of this stuff probably 5 times over. I do have at least like a little bit of spackling experience, so it's not gonna be as difficult as like cutting these 5/8. Oh my God, these were like, thankfully we're kind of done with that, so it's gonna be super nice once we're all done. Let me show you actually. So here you can see this back wall, how it's gonna look like when we're all done with it, right? So to the left and to the right, we're gonna have these freestanding bass traps from Acoustic. They're called Vic Totems. They're actually super, I think they're beautiful. And just, you can put them wherever you want, and you can turn this middle section sort of every which way. I personally just love the way it looks. And on the top though, we're gonna have this actual bass trap, which is mounted there permanently. And I think they're called Super Bass Extreme Ultra VMTs or something like that. And this middle section is basically just a row of Flexi Wave VMTs. This is the half version. They also have a full length, but this just worked out better design-wise. And they're sort of bookended from above and below with these, I think they're called Cinema Round Premium, right? So it's like, it's gonna be great. And here in between, we're actually gonna have some LED strips. So it's gonna be nice and snazzy. And on the top, we're also gonna have more of those Cinema Round Premiums along with these diffusers. They also have some name, but I forget what it is. They're gonna be all white. And yeah, on the front, we're also gonna have a couple of these Vic Totems. And on the back wall, let me adjust this, hold on. The entire back wall is gonna be covered in this, I think it's called Flat VMT panel. And I've chosen this sort of like a concrete pattern for the print. I think it's gonna look beautiful. And it definitely absorbs quite a bit of sound, but in my mind, it's more of like an aesthetic choice, right? Because it's so dominant across the entire wall, so it's gonna be great. Yeah, my desk is gonna be right there. These 2 chairs are not gonna be like that. This is just a placeholder. These curtains, I need to sort of figure out. We're gonna get them custom made. It's gonna be almost like a theater grade curtain once we're done with it, because it will also absorb some of the sound. But yeah, it's gonna be super nice once we're done. Really stoked. You see here how that switch needed to be, that we had to move there, otherwise it would have ended up way behind that bass trap. But yeah, it's definitely still just a render, so it's gonna look way better once we're actually done with it. So, but yeah, next time we're gonna do the trim, we're gonna do the spackle, and we're gonna paint everything. And I wanted to ask you guys actually, what do you think the color should be for the walls? Because we have that concrete thing that is going on the front wall and the back. I have no idea. Maybe the gray that was already there, maybe some lighter gray. But yeah, you can let me know your thoughts in the comments, and maybe we'll come to some like unique conclusions together, which is gonna look great in the end. You never know. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe. I saw that a bunch of you are not subscribed for some reason. Hit the like button, hit the little notification bell, throw a comment on there. I think I'm gonna go work on some music, and I'll come back to this tomorrow to keep this project going. I think it's gonna look super dope once we're done. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one, all right? Ciao.